Hi everyone, I wanted to show you a quick technique to enhance your patterned or designer series paper. This is from the current Stampin' Up! Celebration going on until February 28th. So that's ending soon, and if you want to get in on that, visit my Facebook page, which is Stamp the Fun Up, and you can find the link to my Stampin' Up! Shop and get yourself some of the celebration items, which are free with $50 purchases. There's different stamp sets and papers and things. They are $50. Every $50 you get a free item. But some of them, sometimes you get, if you spend $100, you get a double free item. And that's what I'm featuring today, which is the, bring it up closer so you can see it, the Friendly Hello bundle. Comes with the double-sided designer series paper in the stamp. And what I wanted to show you guys was, yes, designer series paper, graphic paper, colored paper, pattern paper, they're all very cool, right? But they're all very flat as well. And look what they can do. Look what you can do when you enhance the colors and textures with just a little bit of embossing powder. Do you see that shine there? So what this is I've taken the stamp set that corresponds with this designer series paper, and the images in the stamp set actually correspond with the images in the paper. So these ones are all kind of on top of each other, but you can see the same shaped flowers and leaves as are in here. And then on this one, you see the bird on the branch. Of course, that is right here. We've got the sprigs. This one, even though it is patterned on one side, here is that black with white accent cardstock, and that's what I used for this card here. This is a cool little card. This is a card that you would put a belly band on. It folds to a 5x7 card, but it stands up like this. So the recipient gets to see all of this decorated card real estate on the front here. Oh, it's upside down. There you go. That's better. And so what I did was I just enhanced, see that shine there with the black and the white? I just enhanced the color and pattern of what was already on this cardstock just to give it a little more pizzazz and sophistication, I guess. So I wanted to show you real quick how to pick out some embossing powders to elaborate your own designer's series papers or decorative cardstocks that you may have. So let's get started. First things first, I swatched my embossing powders this year. So every year, I don't do a what's it called? New Year's resolution. I do a goal to better myself. It's a bit of a fluffy way of saying resolution, I guess. But I look at it this way, right? The things I do for crafting and with my crafting, they're not wrong, but they could be improved, such as keeping track of my supplies, keeping my supplies orderly and clean, keeping things put away. So my goal for this year was to swatch my embossing powders. And yes, it sounds like something you would never use, but let me tell you, this comes in handy. And once you start, the next time you get a new embossing powder, just make a new little card and add it to your pile. And I used the same stamp I used, I'm going to show you one with color here. I used a flat surface stamp and a detailed stamp. There we go, that's better. So I can see how the embossing powders look with different types of stamps. So with that in mind, I thought, all right, let's enhance, because it's not very often, unless you're getting a Stampin' Up! Bundle, it's not very often that the stamps literally coordinate with the designs in the cardstock. So taking advantage of that, I went through my I went through my embossing powders to find my colors. So obviously, for example, white, I went through here and I found my Stampin' Up! White. Here it is. Of course, you can't see it. But since it's Stampin' Up! Paper, I might as well use Stampin' Up! Embossing powder. And that goes on a lot of the different ones. Look at this one. I'm going to show you how to do that on there too. And then, so going through my little swatches here, I also picked out, for fun, I picked out the Kaleidoscope. The Kaleidoscope is a rainbow iridescent. I just thought, what the hell, that's fun. The only green I have is by Recollections brand called Pesto. This is the old Michaels brand. I don't know if they still do this. I haven't been in Michaels in years. So, you know, again, that's why you want to swatch what you have to see how well it's going to match the cardstocks that you will be coordinating with. And then, of course, I've got my black that it dries shiny black, and it is from Doris. So any shiny black will do, or matte black, or whatever finish you want. I prefer shiny embossing powders myself. So I just clip those, and those hang right on my desk for easy access. All right, let's cut up some paper. I love cutting up brand new paper on video or live, because I know that everybody seems to have an aversion to cutting brand new pretty paper. And I am all about no fear, because guess what? This is a consumable product. You wouldn't buy it if you weren't going to use it, I would hope, right? All right, I know how it goes. Trust me, I've got a wall of paper behind me, just like all you guys do. But guess what? That's why we're going to cut up new paper so we can use it. Once it's cut, then you got to use it, right? What's the point of keeping it? That's how I look at it. Okay, so first, let's start with just this white, because this is the one I want to do the white and the iridescent on, okay? So for demonstration purposes, I'm going to zoom in. Okay, and I am just going to cut off little pieces, just enough to show you. Get a good idea of what we'll be working with. What you want to do, if you're going to be doing this for an actual project, you're going to want to pick out on your cardstock what areas you're going to use for your project. For example, on this card had 2 panels of decorative layers, which I cut out from the cardstock. But when I cut it out, I made sure I was capturing good chunks that can be enhanced with the black and then the white. So you want to keep that in mind when you're cutting your scraps for your finished project. All right, so let's open this up and get some stamps out, just so we can do some sizing here. And when I say sizing, I mean, let's just see, we're going to have enough room to get some stamps in. Yeah, so let's just cut off this corner here. That'll be fine, because this one is, like I said, just for demonstration purposes. But then again, when you do this on your own projects, just make sure that you are trimming off the areas with enough designs that will enhance your project. All right. Now, I have made myself a little handy embossing toolkit. This is a Ranger Distress Mini ink cube holder. And you can take it, they come with little plastic liners in the bottom to fit all the little squared inks. But you can take those out real easy. And so in here I keep my wooden clothespin for holding my paper that's going to get embossed. Keep a paintbrush specifically for wiping off any extra bits of embossing powder I don't want. I keep my folded cardstock that I put my projects on, and then I can funnel the excess powder back into the jar. I've got a spoon. Got my anti-static tool, which is an Emboss and Buddy. keep him in the bag and closed at all times, because if any embossing powder gets in here, it's going right in the bag and all over him. So then I also keep my Versamark. And I was asked before what the date is on here. It was only because I had bought an extra one. I forgot I had one, so I went and bought one. And then I realized I had one when I got home, and I wanted to make sure which one was newer and which one was not, because that was before I knew that they made re-inkers for these things. So that's nothing important. There's no reason to date your ink pad. Yeah, just get yourself a refill, and that's awesome. So there you go. There is my little embossing toolkit. All right, so this is really, really easy. You know how to emboss, you guys, but let's play with it a little. Did you know on your silicone craft mats, if you put those down, you can emboss, you can heat the project right on there and it won't burn anything. Yes, I know, it's great. Now, this is designer series paper, so it's just like decorative cardstock for your scrapbooking. It's very thin. For this, I would actually hold it with my clothespin and heat it from the bottom first and then from the top down. I like to do that because sometimes when you come at it from the top, it immediately blows the most of your embossing powders away. You're like, okay, great. And I'm not stamping with my stamping platform, so I'm gonna not be able to hit the same mark twice. So that's just my little tip there if you need a tip for that. Okay, so of course, anti-static your paper. Now, here is the flowers. We're going to do the flowers first, and we're going to do them first in the white. Let's use the bigger block. And I get it nice and squished up in there. The stickier they are, the better it's going to look. Now, they may not line up exactly where they are on here, but it's going to give you that pop of coolness anyways, so just go with it. I'm going to do these right here. Nothing has to be perfect when you're being artsy-fartsy. This is just to enhance the beauty that is already there. Okay, now, I don't ink stamp all of my project. I do one thing at a time, basically because I will forget where I inked and stick my finger in something, or I will get carried away and start stamping away, and eventually the ink dries and I have to redo it again. So I just do one little spot at a time. That's me. There, you can see it right there. Isn't that cool? I love embossing. Okay, now let's see if we need to, well, first let's put our extra, and I cover my ink pad. I put my powder back in the jar. Cover my jar before I emboss every time, because I don't want that stuff, powder, going in all of my stuff. All right, so let's see if we need to get rid of any little bits. Not really, that came good. I blow a little bit onto the cardstock from far away as I wipe it with the pencil. And so yeah, so I do not, this is not an edited tape. I do all my videos live. So you are going to hear my embossing gun. There it is. Warming it up right now. I like to have it warmed up before I hit it. And again, like I said, I am going to hit it from the bottom first. And it's just by moving it around. You don't want to burn it. This is just to get it to set in place before we hit it from the top. Okay, it's starting to set, so now I can switch it. You can see it's getting a little shiny already, so that's good. And now I can hit it from the top. There we go. So there's that. Awesome. And we're going to hit another one. Let's come down. Let's do these ones up here. And again, powder it, ink it, stamp it, and we just repeat our process here. You can enhance all of the paper that you want. I like to just enhance a couple spots here and there because I think that makes it a little more artistic. I do get really generous with the embossing powder, so I make sure I did not miss any spots. Okay, let's see if we need to blow off any. Nope, just one little spot. Good job. Okay. That back in there. And again, we're going to go from the bottom first. I'm like probably 2 to 3 inches away from the paper, and I'm constantly moving the heat gun in a circular motion so as not to burn it. And then we'll just heat it here. And so you can emboss right on your silicone craft mats. There we go. It's just so cool. And the people who you give the card to, they're going to notice there's something different because those are shiny spots. And we know as crafters, right, that we go immediately in the paper aisle for the embossed touchy-feely paper, don't we? Yes, we do. So there you go. Now let's hit some leaves. Now the leaves I'm going to do multiples of at a time because they're small, so I can get those done real fast without them drying on me. I'm going to use a smaller block. It's a good idea to match your block to whatever you're stamping. It just helps you move along on your project a little quicker. So for this, there's 2 leaves that match the leaves throughout the cardstock. And I'm going to start with the big one. And this time we're going to do the leaves in the kaleidoscope. Ooh, oh, it sucked off my stamp. Hold that thought. Let's get that back on there. I got a little aggressive there. It's not sticking to my, hold on, gotta get my chamois. Sometimes the backs of your stamps, I have been embossing with this stamp set a lot in the last few days. And so you got to clean off the backs of your stamps as well, you know? There we go. Clean my block too. Your chamois is your best friend. There we go. All right, let's try this. Let's do the ink onto the stamp this time. So that way it stays right where we want it. Oops, that's the little guy. All right. So let's hit, now this is gonna overlap the white, and that is perfectly fine because it's cool. So remember we started there. We'll do one there. Try to keep going in the same direction. I'm going like down the middle, and that will help you realize, oh, sorry. I'm stamping the leaves that are going down the middle so that I know the edges are clear. So if I have to touch this, I'll be okay with that. So those are the big leaves first. So we've got 1, 2, 3. You can maybe already see, I'll bring it up there so you can see the sparkle. You see the sparkle in this one? I love this one. I have had this embossing powder forever. So do they still sell it? It's by Stampendous. I hope so. Okay, so now you can see that shadow there. That's what's going to be embossed iridescent. So excited to see what this looks like. Okay. Cover everything up and let's hit that. And this one definitely start from the back. I don't want to lose any of that glitter. So it looks like it's turning yellow to you guys because it's a clear on the peach colored cardstock here, paper. There we go. And so now we have some iridescent awesomeness on our leaves. I love that. So there is an example of using tone on tone and then some iridescent. Look at that. All right, so let's try another color of cardstock. And yes, I am going to be using this in a card. That will be on the blog post later. So let's go now to, I wanted to do this one. This is the one that I did the card with, the black and the white. I want to show you this. All right, so again, imagine the space you're going to be using for a card. And that, oh, I had to bend over to get my paper cutter. That is the area that you want to cut out. Oop, that's under my lamp. Before you, when you're designing your card project, decide what pieces of cardstock you're going to be cutting so that you can have the most real estate to do this little technique with. And we're going to be using this section up here. So I'm just going to cut that off right there. That's what I'm envisioning is where I'm going to put this on a card. Okay. All right, so same applies. This time we're going to be using the white and the black. And we're going to be using the black over the black outlined flowers. And then we're going to use black on these sprigs. And then we're going to use white on the leaves. And the cool thing is, because we're still using the Versamark ink, we don't have to clean our stamps. And that's always fun when you can do a whole project without cleaning your stamps, right? So I am putting the pad to the stamp so I can get really crazy with it. And again, they may not fit the same size. These are bigger than that, but they're in the same shape, so it's going to look all nice and artsy-fartsy. Okay, and now even though we're going to do that sprig in black, I'm going to emboss this first and then do that over, just in case we get any overlap. I don't want it to interfere with the line. I would rather have one line going this way and the sprig going this way if they cross, than having it all one piece by blending together with the embossing powder. Yes, $2.25. That's how much this was probably 20 years ago. No, not that long ago. I don't know. This is one of those things at the bins at the scrapbook conventions when you're waiting to check out and they got the, you know, the cheap bins at the tables there. Oh my God. I do miss those. I miss scrapbook conventions. Or stamping convent, whatever they turned into. when scrapbooking got not popular and stamping took over. I'm gonna get a little bit more on there, actually. Looks like I need a little bit more. This is like soot, this black. This is a good one. Look, it looks like a bat. I don't know. I always see shapes and things, you know? I'm one of those people that, you know, I'm in the bathroom and I'm looking at the wood on the back of the door and I'm like, oh, look, that looks like an ostrich. That's helpful. That's a great talent to have. Okay, so let's get off any extra bits we might have here. There we go. Not too bad. That's why you want to use that anti-static powder. Or whatever your anti-static tool of choice is. I like the black the best with this little fun technique here. Isn't that cool? I just think it makes it a whole new level of awesome. You could also, you know what, let's try something else too. Let's try this. You see that sprig? You see how that sprig, there's a big white one and then a little black one in front of it. Let's make that a big white sprig. Now here's the sprig stamp, okay? And it's about the size of that black one. But if we expand it, we can make it a big white one and then emboss that black right over it. So let's try that, shall we? Clean the back off of that stamp. There we go. This is, so like I said, this was free from the Stampin' Up! Celebration, and I have gotten so much use out of this stamp set, even by just plain. So what I'm going to do is make sure that the stamp starts at the top of these sprigs and comes in. I'm going to emboss that. Then I'm going to do this side white, emboss that, and then we're going to do the black. And that's going to give us this big section there. That's the cool thing about embossing. You can layer embossing up. What I suggest, like I said though, is do one pattern at a time. So right now you can see that white is over the black, but that's okay because we're going to come back and we'll get it eventually as soon as we do the whites. This is the kind of stuff you do on a rainy day when you're watching TV or something, and this is what brings your inspiration out when you have no idea what to craft. Just sit there and make some pieces. You can always use little scraps once they're decorated. Use them in cards in the future. You can always tell what didn't get embossed because it will stay a little grainy looking. Okay, so now we've got the white there. Now we're going to hit it again, and we're going to do white this way. Now, the only problem with layering up your embossing powders is because you have to heat one thing that's going to heat another thing twice, you might get some reliquefaction of the embossing powders. So definitely heat from the bottom and don't stay in one spot too long. Just keep it moving. You'll be okay. There's so many techniques you can use with embossing powders as long as you're not afraid to do it. This is one of those investments for your hobby. I call it an investment because it can be expensive. These powders, you know, some of them aren't cheap, but you get what you pay for, FYI. You get what you pay for in embossing powders. So... Okay, so now we've got that cool, oh, there it is, there it is. All right, love it, it's so cool. Now let's hit that with a black over it. Let's see what that does. Now I haven't done this before. I haven't done black over white. I'm assuming it's gonna show up. So, but what the heck, let's try it. I just think it would look really cool. Okay. Okay, got it on there. Let's see how she melts. It's melting. Yep, looks like we got it. How cool is that? So now you got all that definition. It's all touchy-feely. Ah, that is cool. See, you got to try that one. All right, let's move on to the color. And the color we're going to use is green. Let's get to the green. Here it is. Look, here's the black on purple. Wouldn't that be pretty with the white and the black on the purple? I think it would be. Oh, look at all that solid white. Ooh. That's all right. I'm going to show you one more. Okay, let's cut off a bunch of the... Now, this really doesn't matter with what its pattern is because it's all over the place. So this one should be interesting. This is not the right color green to match this paper, but I don't care because it's green. So I'm just gonna, whoop. There you go, you get to see my light. I'm sorry. I am just gonna cut off some. I like those there and that, so let's cut that off right here. Okay. So on this one, we're going to use the green and we're going to use the white. Why not? So we're going to use the white in these bright areas because that's going to help enhance the white embossing powder. And then these light colored ones, this is where we're going to use the green. And that, again, is this little guy right here we're going to use. So let's start with the white. we go. I think I could probably, you know what, I could get away with doing that white and that white. I don't like to do too many at once, you know. I just said that and here I am doing it. Oh my gosh. There. As long as you remember, like, stick to an area so you know where you didn't do it, and in case you have to grab it. That's the real problem, is I've stuck my finger in my embossing glue ink so many times. It's so frustrating. Because I generally do embossing without my stamping platform. I just use acrylic blocks for it. So I'll be like, ooh, bleh. So as long as you can remember or stick to just one side, you're good. All right, let's see. Just blowing off a little bit on there. Look, I got a line from the stamp, so I gotta make sure that gets off. I don't know if you can see that line there. If you have problems doing this, of getting the little specks off, whatever-handed you are, use your pinky as leverage. Set your pinky on the paper. It's like using chopsticks. If you don't have leverage, you move your whole hand. But if you anchor your hand, then you can just move your fingers, and it makes it a lot easier to get into those little places that you want to get rid of that powder. There we go. Cool. That's an artist trick for you when you're painting, FYI. That's where I learned that. You gotta stabilize it. Stabilize your hand. All right. Here we go with the white. That one's even cool because you can't see it really until you see that shine. I'm trying to get a good shine on it for you, but you can feel it. That is so cool. All right, let's try the green. So let's do the green here and right there. Is it the same shape as these leaves all up in here? No, doesn't matter. We're being artsy fartsy. Let's do that one there. And we can do the other one. I'll be brave. Be brave, be brave. Whoop, there we go. So this is a funky green, but what the heck? I try to remember to keep that flipped when I do these. Where did I see? Now I forget where I... here we go. Yep, that's what we did. Okay, now this has, it even has a little bit of gold in it. It's like such a tacky green. I think I must have got it for a St. Patrick's Day thing years ago. Like I said, I don't know if they make this color, but any green will do, or whatever color you are thinking about doing. All right. That in there. Put it back in our jar. I am so proud of myself. I did not spill any embossing powder. Yay. All right, clean this up and hit it. See those lines? See that line there? That's from the edge of the acrylic block. I'm just blowing it off and wiping it out. And see how I'm anchoring my pinky so I can get in there. I think that's a cool green on this, actually. That's not too bad. You could even do, if you kept going, if you had like a teal blue, that'd be cool on this as well. You see that? Yeah. Ah, so cool. So this one had, look, it's green and gold. Green and gold. That is really cool. So, bam. Oh. Just enough to draw the eye in. So, there you go, guys. We learned that you can emboss to enhance your cardstocks. Where are we at here? Is this the one? Where's the one with the white? Oh, here it is. So we did some white with some iridescent leaves. Doesn't really do it justice on the camera here, but they look super cool in real life. We did the black over the white. I love enhancing those black outlines. That's so cool. And then we enhanced the leaves. So you guys stay tuned. There's going to be a blog post follow-up to this video over at Stamp the Fun Up at WordPress. So check me out there and you can see what I end up doing with these little leftovers. Let's take one last look at that final big card. That's right. I just love how that enhanced those. So cool. I even did those. That's a little swirly thing that's in there. So yay. Okay guys, thanks so much. I will see you later with another video.